did you guys ever talk about what would happen if the game did really well, or?
Yeah, so from the beginning, we planned to do profit sharing. So because no one was getting paid going in except for like a little bit to the artist to help him like draw his attention full time to working on the project, and and we basically just said, hey, yeah, we're gonna do straight up profit sharing, and we had that from the beginning as the plan.
And how have you guys weathered the success of Space Chem? Are you still together?
It kind of. I mean, so we were pretty like a geographically isolated team, and everybody was just freelancing basically on the project. And so for most people, that's still a part of it. Like one of the programmers from SpaceChem works full time for me now, and some like we're still working with some of the people from SpaceChem, but in a similar like contract profit sharing based agreement.
Any things that you would change in the future if you do more games? I mean, are you ever gonna get like actual formal agreements, or are you still good with the?
Yeah, well, we used a contract for SpaceChem. So we drew up a like a pretty much like a general contractor agreement specifying what people were going to be doing, what they were responsible for, when they had to have it done by, guaranteeing that they could use their what they did for in their portfolio, given they had permission from us, that their name would appear in the credits. And then stipulating how much we would pay them, whether it was just like X% of profits, or if there was like a stipend at the beginning or the end of the work or whatnot. So we had that all laid out in contracts before the game shipped, which was nice because it's completely unambiguous how much money I have to give everybody. So.
And did you find a form on the internet, or did you write it up yourself?
Found a contract agreement online, read over it, tweaked it to have stuff like adding some provisions and changing around the payment provision. And yeah, we used that. Fortunately, we didn't have any problems. I mean, we didn't have anybody trying to fight against it, and it would have been more awkward than I imagine.
Well, what we tend to notice is that when people aren't as amiable as you are, and sort of when egos get in the way, and sort of just generally development cycle changes. I mean, you start off with one game, and then you end up with something completely different. We find that whatever somebody signed or agreed to isn't how these people are working by the end of it. It's like, the programmer became the programmer and artist by the end of this, and suddenly the artist that they were working with isn't their artist anymore. He's doing PR, and so have you found in any of the work that you've done that sort of everything you kind of agreed to up front and you thought was going to be the case was a completely different case by the end of the development cycle?
For the most part, the roles that we'd set out at the beginning of the project were the roles through the end. We did at one point actually, somebody was just doing like sound design and then ended up doing all of our PR as well. So basically exactly the scenario you just mentioned. And we moved around some of the percentages with the permission of some of the people who had the big, the people. There were a couple of people who had like much bigger chunks of the profit sharing. So we redivvied those up to give a little bit more to the person who was taking on more work. And I only work with people I like and that I trust. So that really helps a lot, because we're on good terms, and we can just agree to say, oh yeah, he's doing a lot more work. Let's give him a little bit more to reward him for it. So, and we just used an addendum onto the contract